Where is America going wrong? Well, I think it began slowly. I've said we've corrected a lot of injustices, but I think starting in the early 1900s, there were some things that started going wrong and we didn't notice. Woodrow Wilson began bankrupting America by the Federal Reserve Act in 1913. I'm going to read you the words of Woodrow Wilson shortly after he signed this act. I am a most unhappy man. I have unwittingly ruined my country. A great industrial nation is controlled by a system of credit. Our system of credit is concentrated. The growth of the nation, therefore, and all his activities in his lands are in the hands of a few men. He realized what he had done, but he didn't have the gall to stand up and make a change. In the 1930s, FDR's New Deal is another thing that I think helped us down this track of socialism. The policies that he implemented did help some through the Depression, but there are a lot of economists now that think this actually prolonged the Depression. He started programs. He took us off the gold standard, which devalues our dollar to this day. He started the Federal Housing Administration, which includes Fannie Mae. That's ruining all your house values right now. He started programs that lead to the welfare state. I quote Thomas Jefferson, "A democracy will cease to exist when you take away from those that are willing to work and give to those that are not." He also says, "When people find out they can vote themselves money, this will herald the end of the republic." I'm sorry, that was Ben Franklin. For many years, conservatives fought in the Supreme Courts to overturn many policies of the New Deal, but the Democrats just reenacted them under different names. I'd like to also read you a quote now from a Socialist Party candidate. He ran 6 times, and in 1994, Norman Thomas said, "The American people will never knowingly adopt socialism, but under the name of liberalism, they will adopt every fundamental tenet until one day America will be a socialist nation, not knowing how it happened." He went on to say later, "I no longer need to run for president. The Democratic Party has adopted our platform." This is what has happened to our country today. This is where we're heading if we don't stand up and make a change. They're they have already ruined our educational system. This is part of their plan. If you have people that aren't educated, they can't stand up and make an intelligent argument to fight for themselves. I say it's time we tell them we've had enough. To stand up and take our country back so it'll be great for the next 200 years. Both Democrats and Republicans alike have stopped being statesmen and lead our country to greatness. Instead, they divide us, lead us to ruin, steal our money, liberty, and property. Far too long, politicians have lined their pockets with our hard-earned money, and they cling to power to keep that money and power. I want to tell you a quick story. And what this is describes to me what we want our politicians to do. My father was a Memphis City policeman. In the 70s, he pulled over a man, and it was a well-known politician. He got out of the car and he said, "Don't you know who I am? You can't give me that ticket." And my father had the intestinal fortitude to say, "Nah, you broke the law, you're getting the ticket." Well, he had to suffer for that decision, being passed up by promotions, but he had something that many of our politicians, all of our politicians, are missing. He had the intestinal fortitude and the audacity to stand up for the oath he took and to do what's right. Our politicians today do not do what's right. They do not stand up for their oath. They do not stand up for our Constitution. And it's time we stand up and take our country back. in conclusion, I've got a list of things that we all must do to take our country back. All you are here today because you care, you're informed, and you want to do something. Well, these are the things that you need to do. First, we must pray. We must pray to God for our country. We are a country only because of God. 2 Chronicles 7:14, God says, "If my people who are calling my name will humble themselves, pray, and seek my face and turn from their wickedness, I will hear them in heaven, forgive them of their sins, and heal their land." Our land needs to be healed. We need to pray. Secondly, we need to educate ourselves. We need to read. We need to study. We need to read Mark Levin's book, Liberty and Tyranny. We need to read Glenn Beck's book, Common Sense, because our government has not been using common sense. All these books are educational. They've taught me things that I didn't know or didn't understand. The 5,000-year leap teaches about what our founding fathers meant in the Constitution. It's not a living Constitution. It is in concrete and it is in stone. Go by what the Constitution says. Third, register to vote. Make sure all your friends are registered to vote. Study who the people running are and vote your heart. I have personally vowed never again to vote for the lesser of two evils because they're the most likely to win. That is what's gotten us into the position we're in today. The definition of insanity is repeating the same thing over and over again and having the same result. Well, America, that's what we've been doing for way too long. We need to get politicians who are statesmen, who stand up for our Constitution, do what's right for the country and not for their pockets and the lobbyists. Fourth, we must pay attention to what's going on every day. I know we're all busy. We have families, jobs, thousands of things to take care of. We can be inundated. I think that's why a lot of us fail to pay attention. And there's a lot of the people who aren't here fail to pay attention. But we have to be vigilant. Remember those revolutionary soldiers who ate shoe leather and marched in snow with no shoes. Remember the people in Iran on threat of death protested. Do we see Americans protesting now? That almost makes me ashamed. We should be standing up and screaming. Thousands of us. You need to wake up all your friends, educate them, drag them along kicking and screaming. Call your congressman every time there's a vote coming up and you don't agree with it. Have all of your friends do the same. We need to flood their phone lines, their emails, and let them know we're paying attention. Next election, we're coming for you. Outside Independence Hall in the Constitutional Convention in 1787, Mrs. Powell asked Benjamin Franklin, "Well, doctor, what have you given us, a republic or a monarchy?" Without hesitation whatsoever, Franklin responded, "A republic, if you can keep it." People, we are the only ones right now that can keep it. Stand up and fight for your country now. God bless America.
Thank you, Johnny.